The Greek philosopher Aristotle is justly regarded as one of the most influential thinkers in history. Sometimes his ideas didn't quite hit the mark. For instance, his assertion that bison discourage chasing dogs by firing caustic turds at them, or his intriguing idea that bees are deaf, on the basis that he could see no ears. Notwithstanding the occasional misstep, his legacy is extraordinary. It's been said that the science of biology sprang from his labours, and many things that he described over 2,000 years ago have stood the test of time. Indeed, it was Aristotle who is credited with the discovery, if that's the right word, that we have 5 senses, or more formally, sensory modalities: vision, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. Often, Aristotle gets a bad rap for this, largely because it seems to state the bleeding obvious. In his defence, this was only a small part of his insightful and groundbreaking theories about perception and how the senses combine to provide us with our experience of the world. Nonetheless, poor old Aristotle's name is typically drawn into the fray any time the question is asked, how many senses do we have? This rule of 5 is still the basis for our early education in the senses, yet it's some way from the whole story. We certainly have more than 5, and depending on how we slice and dice the different categories, we might have as many as 53. Touch, for instance, is a composite of multiple different senses that could be subdivided. Then there are others such as equilibrioception, the sense of balance, and proprioception, our sense of our body's position, that lie outside the original 5. Putting a precise number to the senses, though popular as a quirky topic of debate, isn't especially helpful. Nevertheless, it's important to know what we mean when we describe something as a sense. Generally speaking, a sense can be defined as a faculty that detects a specific stimulus by means of a receptor dedicated to that stimulus. For example, when light enters our eye, it is absorbed by a molecule known as a retinal, which is found within the light receptor cells of the retina. The light's energy causes the retinal to perform a tiny molecular contortion, in turn setting off a chemical chain reaction that ultimately produces a minute quiver of electricity. It's this tiny zap that gets transmitted along the optic nerve to the waiting brain, which interprets the message and countless others that arrive simultaneously from neighbouring receptors to provide us with the visual sensation of the light. This process of converting a stimulus into a signal that the brain can understand is known as transduction. Taste receptors, meanwhile, coat our tongues, the inside of our cheeks, and the very top of the esophagus. Give them a molecule, and milliseconds later, they'll be telling the brain all about it. We also have taste receptors sprinkled around the body, in places such as the liver, the brain, and even the testes. This latter revelation, from a paper published in 2013, gave rise to a fad among young men to dangle their balls in such things as soy sauce, with some even claiming to have registered a savoury hit. The thing is, though taste receptors may be found in such extraordinary places, they're not organised into taste buds, and nor are they wired to the brain in quite the same way as the receptors in our mouths, so they don't deliver the experience of flavour. The net result is that the participants expose themselves not only to condiment-covered gonads, but to accusations of wishful thinking.